Hello. I'm here. I'm back. There's no getting rid of me. Unfortunately. How is everybody? I'll wait for you to get in the chat. It's lovely to finally be back this week. I had a much needed week off. Which was kind of decided for me by my own body. A lot of stress, a lot of I feel like, do I have to have the orientation this way? I suppose I do. I'm trying to figure it out, but I think it's got to stay like this. Yeah. Yeah. That's annoying. I don't know how I ended up doing that. It's probably not going to come through to people's phones then, I imagine. If I still feel like it's wonky. Is that better? It'll play. It's fine. So yeah, where have I been? I have been mentally, physically, and technologically just broken last week. It started off with, obviously, I'm post surgery, so I'm still really sore, healing. On top of that, I've got this new hip pain, new ailment of the week, and honestly, that hit my mental state like a ton of bricks. I felt like I'd just gone through this journey of helping my endometriosis and sorting that for at least temporarily, however long that lasts for, to instantly having something else wrong with me. And I don't know if it's related or I've got no idea. Um, so I'm just kind of dealing with that. It's sore to sit, it's sore to walk around, it's sore to lay. Like, yeah, not fun. But we move on. So it wasn't just that. I went to go live on Monday, and unfortunately, someone has taken my lead out of the computer room, out of my studio. And getting it back was just not possible for a few days. So I was kind of screwed without that. That was annoying. I'm trying to see if anyone's joined. I'm trying to see the chat. I'm pretty sure the chat's there. So feel free to say hello. Stop me at any time. I am mostly here to help you. I just fill you in on my crap before anyone wants to say anything. I remember that the camera is there. I should talk to that bit. Is that creepy though? I feel like that's kind of creepy. We don't want creepy. That's the last thing we want here. So yeah, I didn't have a lead, which meant that it was my USB cable that plugs my mic into my computer and simultaneously charges my phone, which I record on. Excuse my terrible nail varnish, by the way. I don't know how anyone manages to keep their nails well done after painting them. I mess them up instantly. Whatever the reason that is for, that's annoying. So yeah, technologically that sucked. I couldn't figure that out. My I didn't have a bank card because I'd lost my bank card. I was waiting for that to be delivered, so it's not like I could have gone out and bought myself a new lead. There was a load of higgledy piggledy Piggledy? Is that the word? Sure, we'll go with it. Um, that's so. It was a disaster. It was a disaster week, and it got to the point where I was like, right, calm down. What do I need to do here? And it's a really good lesson for anyone that is feeling burnt out. My mental burnout came from being physically ill and just stuff not happening well around me, my environment. It's kind of like that trifecta, right? If one of them falls, the rest they can't stand on their own. Do you know what I mean? It's a stool, a milk stool. I knew there was an analogy there that I was trying to get to, um, but here we are. So yeah, when that I realize as well that trifecta for some people, one of them is like spirituality. I'm just for the sake of my situation, one of them for me was technology, which is a regular factor in my life that goes wrong. And normally, when nothing else is going wrong around it, I can manage that and we can figure it out. It all just was coming to a big blow, and I was like, okay, I've got to make a decision. What do I do? Put my therapist cap on. What would I, advise other people? What would I help them to come to the decision of? And yeah, I just had to take a step back. First, take several breaths. Calculate what's happening in my life. Take inventory. What is being too difficult right now, and how can we make this easier? That is a really good question to ask yourself, by the way. I always recommend if you're stressed, quite often we think of like, oh, how can I like get out of doing this, or how can I not have to do it? Like the best question you can ask yourself is, how can I make this easier? I think it's such a good way of proposing that different way of viewing something to your brain. It kind of invites that like new creative way of thinking about stuff. But obviously, we can't think creatively. We can't think with these great planning skills that our brain has unless we are engaging our prefrontal cortex, which we cannot do when we're stressed. We cannot do when we're burnt out. We need to, like I said, take those breaths. It seems like a really strange hack, but it is a body hack to be used, not to be missed. I'm trying to look at the updates. If you're here, by the way, like and subscribe, please. Begging. Those vital words. It does help. I always feel cringy asking, cringy saying it, but just that hit of the like button, it's so appreciated and it goes really far. Apparently, when I look at the analytics compared to when I don't say it, I don't know. Don't prove me wrong now though, just because you're hearing me. You're like, I'm not gonna have it like that. But I understand it. Don't worry. But yeah, get the likes in, get the subscriptions in. I am Steph, and I'm here I say every, I wasn't here last week, every Monday and Wednesday, from 12 till 1-ish. Sometimes we run a bit over. Sometimes we get carried away. We end up in a game of food guesser, and we just get a bit distracted. That's fine though. Is that fine? I think that's fine. It's fine. Yesterday was Mother's Day. So first of all, shout out to all the mums, all the mothers in our lives. I hope you all celebrated lovely, did lovely things with your mums, with your grandmums, with your wives, maybe celebrating for your kids. It's a lovely Sunday to be had for some, which goes to my next shout out, which is shout out to those who find Mother's Day stressful, depressing, and they kind of have those negative trauma that's connected to that mother-daughter, mother-son relationship. I know for me personally, love my mum. Wouldn't change it for the world, obviously. we have a strange relationship. That's the easiest way to say it. And we know that that relationship with our mums is the most important, with that primary caregiver, should I say. Um, Mine being my mum. And I always say my mum did her best with what she had. Um, but unfortunately, without understanding me from being from a different generation, we didn't really meld. We clashed a lot. And they say opposites attract. And I think the ways that we clashed and then the ways that we're actually very similar. And me and my mum are really different from each other. We are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But the way we behave, because I grew up with her, is exactly the same. We can be hot headed, we can jump to conclusions, we can be a little bit judgy. The difference is, I've paid a lot of money to go to university to learn about counseling, psychotherapy, go through hours and hours and hours and hours of training to understand what I need to do in the moment to calm down. That being said, my mum is the only person in this world that's able to put a cap on how far I can tolerate it from her. Anyone else in this world, I could sit in front of you and calmly explain to you X, Y, and Z as you're yelling at me. It doesn't really, like, I will disengage, but very rarely would I, like, and that's what I can employ in myself to be a good counselor. But that relationship with our mums, that relationship with our parents, with our siblings, with our loved ones, they're really close people, they know how to trigger us. And I'm not saying that they consciously do that, but they know us so well that when you're having a debate, having a heated conversation, talking about something that you don't agree on, you know very easily the tactics to use with each other, that you know would get to them, that you know would help you win said argument or debate. And I think it's really important because we, at the minute, politics is a crazy. It's a crazy time for politics. That's what I'm trying to say. The news is ridiculous. The government is even more ridiculous. And then you've got this divide of people, equal sides of ridiculousness. But me and my mum sit on both opposite ends of that. I am self-identified leftist. People want to call me communist, that's fine, doesn't offend me. Whereas my mum is much more conservative, but in the more liberal sense. So she understands that people need benefits. She understands that the welfare system is necessary. And she understands that corporations and offshore accounts, all the financial economic problems with the UK, but then proceeds to vote for the party that is populist at the time, that reaches out to people that are disillusioned by the current political state. You know, we've seen it in America. I think a big reason that Trump has been made it to president is because people are sick and tired of the normal being lied to by the government, not quite realizing that the people spearheading that are just going to use it for their own financial gain and don't care about the actual political system. Um, and unfortunately, yeah, I've lost my mum to the Reform Party. And it's not just a case of being opposite ends of the political spectrum. I think for me, because we say, politics, just steer clear of it. If you're with family, especially at like Christmas and stuff like that, just avoid politics because it will end in an argument. And for the most part, I agree. We don't need to talk about politics, especially if it's going to go that way. Um, but when something is said that goes against what we do here, a different human design, a different human design argues for individual identity exploration. It argues for neurodivergent support, mental health support. It argues for diversity, equality, inclusion, and something for people on the right at the minute, this DEI. I can hold my breath for most things. And then when something like DEI is brought up, which I know is a Trump talking point, and I'm ready to wholeheartedly explain why that doesn't mean the best people aren't getting their job and people are just getting the job to fill a quota. Um, I'm trying to explain to it that, this is what a different human design does for people who are neurodivergent, for people that are of the LGBTQ, people that identify as different in this world. We advocate for them to have an equal part in life. And then when I hear my mum talking about DEI, and I'm ready to happily correct her, and instantly I'm told that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a woke talking point. And yeah, there's only so much you can take, and it's hard because I do my best to stay calm, to really try and get the point across how quite a lot of their arguments are from either some sort of anti-Semitic base, whether they're um, just chronic right wing dog whistle talking points that I can combat easily just with a little bit of research and a little bit of. But the research that I show and the evidence that I show is still not good enough. And I don't know, because when I get to that point, then it's like, oh, well, you can't believe anyone. How do you know that that research is? I go, oh, well, you sent me to university to learn how to read scientific research. And to say that we can't just believe anything. Of course we do. We have to believe in science. We have to. Every day. Anytime you turn the engine in your car and just assume that it won't completely blow up or assume that it won't not start. We have faith in scientists. Every time you put toothpaste to your mouth, you're trusting a scientist has got that correct. Every time you eat something, anytime you do most things in life, you are trusting that a scientific procedure has been carried out to ensure your safety. It's baffling to me how scientists are not getting any credibility, and I understand how it's happening, because if you can discredit scientists, then you can change the policy and you can make the policy more fitting to what you're looking for as a selfish politician being paid to say whatever. So, with that context over, this is going somewhere. What do we then do with a relationship like that? it's hard, right? It tugs at the very soul. A relationship that's that close, that you disagree so fundamentally on topics like trans rights, human rights in general, immigration, politics, economics. How do you manage that relationship when it's such a close one? Because you can't just be like, oh, I just wouldn't hang out with you. That's my mum. That's my family member. Um, but at the same time, being in that environment and refusing to acknowledge that it's stressful to spend time with each other for a long time is detrimental to my mental health. Um, is detrimental to anyone's that's trying to get. It's hard, right? How do you talk as an equal to each other with the respect, knowing that one of you is actively wanting to vote against the other's best interest? And that's where it struggles for me. The struggle for me in the like, don't talk about politics. Okay, we won't talk about politics. At what point do we discuss what's happening here? Is it when my rights as someone who's mentally disabled get taken away from me? Is it when the NHS is privatised and it's £2,000 for an injection? Do we start questioning it when, I'm being dragged off to jail for supporting Palestine? It's at what point do I realise my mum has my best interest? And I'm sharing this as a me story because I know that so many people are experiencing this conflict with their parents, with their loved ones, um, across the pond in America as well. It's difficult. So I'm hoping that by sharing my own experience, maybe you're getting something from that. Maybe. I don't know. What I will say is the way I manage it currently is I take regular breaks, and that is from the news, also my parents. um, I spend a limited amount of time. That way, there is no chance for that conversation to come up. It's such a small window that there's other stuff to talk about. It's when we've caught up and talked about everything that these sorts of conversations start to creep in. Um, there's the notion of respect your elders, right? It's your parents. They're not going to be around forever. Um, but I think that way of thinking can be a little bit toxic and a little bit victim blaming. If you are really suffering from something that your parents are doing to you, to have this idea that you need to put up with it and just get on with it, despite how it's making you feel, I just don't agree with. And studies show it's just not good. It's not good. Um, but yeah, I know yesterday would have been hard for a lot of people. I know it kind of sucked for me. It was actually going very well. And then it got onto bootlicker, bootlicking Farage, Daddy Farage. And just the spouting of misinformation. I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then it got into, well, what are the Jews doing now? And I don't know what to do with that sentence anymore. Like, so they say stuff like, I know you say I'm racist, but I'm like, I don't say you're racist. I, by definition, unfortunately, you say things that are. um, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? And that's why I say limited amount of time. But there's multiple reasons why yesterday could have been difficult for you. I know I'm banging on about the trauma dumping, about a difficult relationship. But there's also people that would have struggled yesterday because of grief. Grief is a really complicated thing, something that maybe doesn't even affect us all year. Maybe we lost our mum or our grandparents, grandmum, a few years ago, decades ago. And it comes round to these special moments, something like Mother's Day, Christmas, where you're reminded of all the memories that you had, and also, grieve those moments that you don't have, the current time that you don't have with them. It's hard. And I know for a lot of people, losing their parents really changes them. And I try to keep that in mind for my own reactions to my parents, without it being that level of like, just keep banging my head against a wall just to try and put up with it. Hey, Dwight, live in the now, don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. That's the goal, right? Definitely. That's how we want our brains to be. That is living in the moment. It's the best thing we can do. And how often do we actually live in the moment? It's hard. I find for me that even when things are going really well, I can find that I've got that sense of sadness that, oh, this isn't going to last. And that's a terrible way of perceiving good times, of perceiving anything that's happening to you. You're almost robbing yourself, thieving yourself of the joy of the moment. And I think that's worth saying, that doing that in really happy times is one thing, but doing that in general life, because I could be able to see the happiness in every moment that there is, or at least some positives. And if we could just do that all the time, practice mindfulness. There's a reason we say practice, right? Because it's not something that we naturally do. It's something you have to put in place. I was about to say, what are some of the ways that you put into practice mindfulness? But I know you're going to say golf. I just know. At least one of you anyway. But I'm interested. If you're watching this at a later date or even now, let me know. What's something that you do to make yourself live in the moment? How do you remind yourself to slow down? How do you remind yourself to be mindful? I'm sure it would help other people that are going through it. So if you're wanting to know, have a look, see what people's suggestions are. Equally, get your suggestions in there, because if I've just sent a load of people to go and have a look and there's none in there, that'd be really embarrassing. For me, anyway, not embarrassing for you. We don't want that. So yeah, how is everybody doing? I'm trying to think what. So this Thursday, we have a members only stream. That'll be fun. The last one was good. We that was the I'm trying to remember now. Was that the book character one? No, I can't quite remember. The last I remember there was a presentation. We did a presentation. And if you didn't know, if you do to become a member, it's just signing up to the Patreon. But it's not just the current video that you are signing up to watch. You can get all of the backlog of the private streams that we've done. Quite a good deal for £1. £1. What can you get for £1 these days? And it's a little more interesting because the lovely Lindsay's here. The lovely Lindsay, who got me some lovely flowers after my surgery. They were beautiful. They're downstairs right now, kind of on their last legs. And I'm really sad because I didn't take a picture of them. But I suppose this is a good action, a good reminder to live in the now and think, okay, I didn't take a picture of them, but I saw them. I got to enjoy them in my living room, looking beautiful with their bright colours. And what more can I want from that? What more? It's I forgot what I was going to say then. Oh my god, I just looked over there and realised that there's no pictures on the wall, not as many pictures on the wall, and I couldn't remember where I'd put them. I remembered that I took them to an event. Forgot to put them back up. I don't know where they are now. It's a problem. So, as well as that, I forgot to mention Wednesday's stream. I won't be golfing, but I may be fishing. Carp fishing. How does that sound? Does that sound like a ridiculous stream? I'm hoping, because I won't be walking anywhere, we'll just be at the peg, that it'll be a really pretty live stream. Try to do something every day, no matter what it is. Keep your mind active. Fishing. So I thought that if you were into golf, then you'd be into fishing. Like, equally, these are ways of getting away from your wife. I just assumed you're not a fisher, a fisherman. To be completely clear, I won't be the one fishing. I just need a well-needed getaway. Because as much as I had last week off, I was on my own indoors in pain. Really wasn't the relaxation break that I needed, but it was definitely the break from normal life that I needed. So the goal is to stream while away. We know how these attempts go, right? I've done these outdoor streams or attempted them in the past, and they just don't really play out for whatever reason. But I'm pretty sure I've been assured that the signal is good. I won't be moving about. So yeah, hopefully it works. I've done fishing before and it's relaxing, but I need something more competitive. I can understand that. That's a good point to make, I suppose. I know they have match fishing, but they all sit like nowhere near each other. I suppose they don't really sit anywhere near each other when they're carp fishing either. But yeah, you're right. It is much more of a relaxing, chilled thing than an actual, like, we're not calling fishing sport, are we? Or are we? Um, Physically competitive. Okay, yeah. It's I mean, I don't know if you've caught a 40 pounder physically, but I understand what you mean. It doesn't have that um game face kind of mentality, like where you can kind of like banter with each other but also physically get involved. I don't know. I don't know. I'm from a football background, so I need to move around. I get that completely. It makes me think of the lads that when I was at school, the lads every lunchtime played football. And it blew my mind that you could do that every lunchtime throughout your whole school career. And never get bored of it. I can't think, like, girls would go through hobbies of like the different phases. We'd have skipping ropes, and then it went to like those really big tennis balls, like basketball sized tennis balls. Um, there was a period at school where we played tennis. We made up this game, tennis, football tennis, and I swear I saw someone playing it on YouTube. That's not that's neither here or there. But we had like a whole summer of playing tennis, which was very fun. I strongly recommend. Could we do a tennis tournament? That'd be really fun. Um, it's just a net like tennis, but you kick the ball over like football. It was very fun. Teachers got involved. You know, during the summer where like everyone's into the same thing. It was very fun. Um, yeah, I miss doing stuff like that. I suppose as I'm starting to heal, I need to be thinking about Tough Mudder. Um, because I haven't exercised since before my operation. It's been almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks today. Ooh, 2 weeks today. Okay, very cool. But I need to get on it. Need to exercise. Um, and one of the things that we wanted to do was contact local sports teams and see if they would like to train us, like to show us what they do in exchange for, a little bit of exposure on here. Um, just to have a reach out to see if anyone else wants to join their team or um, invest in the hobby themselves. So if you've got any suggestions of teams or people that do things, just people that do things, um, that could be really cool. Um, when I say it could be cool as well, I had a picture of me just making a fool of myself. I mean, it could be kind of funny watching us. I have no idea how Tough Mudder's gonna go. I have these two thoughts where like one area is I'm doing my best and it's hard, but I'm doing my best. And some bits I can't quite complete, but I'm giving it a go. And in the other lane, I'm not even there yet, dreading it. Um, in the first 5 seconds, I'm wanting to stop, and then I've got obstacles to do. I hope I'm not in that category. All you can do is your best, 100%. Do your best and forget the rest. That was my motto for last week. How to make things simpler. Um, it's very good advice. Do your best and forget the rest. I got that from um, an account on Instagram. It's a black family and they have a young autistic son. Actually, I believe they have 3 children that are autistic, and she tells them every day before school, "Do your best, forget the rest," and they repeat it back to her, and it's the cutest thing. The cutest thing. I I don't know what's happening to me recently, but I see babies and I'm like, do I want a baby? I mean, I'm getting old. I suppose if I'm supposed to be thinking about it, it should be sometime now. But a part of me is like, ugh, do I really like my life without a kid? Not really. It's hard. It's like, well, because there's no turning back, right? There's no, oops, can I give them back? I mean, there is, but we don't want to use those avenues, really. Um, but yeah, what's that all about? I spent my whole life like, I don't want kids, I don't want kids. Ugh. Um, yeah, they say the biological clock ticks, and I'm starting to hear the slight ticking. Being a woman is crazy. These like you can objectively be like, nope, I don't want that for myself, and then these new floods of hormones hit you as you get to different age points. They just change your complete mind. What a nightmare. How do you. I'm sorry, men. I'm so sorry. We complain about men all the time. There is a level of apology we owe. Because How do you know whether we're coming or going? Shout out to our kings that stand by those queens every day. We love you. We respect you. We're very thankful for you. Well, I am considering going live Wednesday at 1. Um, I'm unsure if 12 is a little early. Half 12 seems to be the sweet spot. But starting it at half 12, is that an okay thing to do? I suppose some programs start at half 12. For some reason in my brain, there was a rule that made that not make sense. But now I'm saying it out loud to you guys. Maybe it is possible. Because I sit here for the first half hour like, oops. And I realise the stream is set up incorrectly right now. It should be the other way. And ain't that a beep? So yeah, I'll keep you updated and I'll let you know what the start time will be on Wednesday. But we will be at the lake. Hopefully some lovely sunshine. And we can spend time together. We can spend time together. We can spend time together. So before I get any more weird, thank you for joining me. I hope that if yesterday was good for you, that you continue to have good days this week. And equally, if yesterday was a bit crap for you, I hope that your week improves. If you need any help from me, you can contact me at a different podcast official at gmail.com. Or you can go to our website and you can book one-on-one sessions now. I don't know if you know. Don't know if you knew. A differenthumandesign.co.uk. Go to our store. There's a load of stuff. The one-to-one sessions, like I mentioned. Yeah. It was lovely speaking to you. It was lovely hanging out. I hope you're improving that golf swing. And all the best to everyone. Sending all the love. Take care, bye, guys. Take care, bye. Take care, guys. Bye.